All right. Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, Hi,
Hey
Brittany.
everyone.
Hey. So happy Tuesday. I was looking, what's today's day? Hi,
Hey
Brittany.
everyone.
Hey. So
So
happy
happy
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'm
I was
listening
looking,
to
what's
me.
today's day? Hi
Uh,
Brittany.
okay, I'm sorry.
Hi.
One second.
So happy Tuesday.
Okay. Hopefully that one. I'm so sorry about this. A lot of screens open on my background. So sorry again. So happy Tuesday, happy end of the month. I hope you all had a great January and great year to come in 2023. Today again, like I said, you're gonna get sick of me during tax season. I'll be here every day except the weekend. I'll give you a break from me in the weekends. My name is Noura Al Masri, and I am an enrolled agent, the founder and CEO of Noura's Books, where we make every donor counts. I am the CFO for nonprofits. So today I have with me a great grant writer. I have Brittany C, and I'll let her actually introduce herself. Just I don't want you to get sick of me, so I always have like great guests with me, not every day, but I'll try to have as many time like great guests with me, so you're not sick of me alone. So so you can learn more, because I no one knows everything. I can't pretend to know I know everything. So I have this great lady Brittany C. She's a grant expert, and I'm gonna let her actually introduce herself. Go ahead, Brittany. Hi, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank, thank you so much for having me again. I am Brittany C. I am the founder and CEO of Right Division Plainly LLC. And what I do there is provide grant strategies for nonprofits and businesses at inception, as well as grant writers from the beginning. I feel like I'm in grant writing, but it's kind of like a weird niche because I'm starting at the very beginning, whereas a lot of grant writers are either thrown in or it's one of those drowning things. So I try to help them in the beginning get to where they need to go. So as they make their journey, they're not overwhelmed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for everything you're doing. And you need to follow Brittany. So we'll share the link for you to follow her um, right before we end this live. So you can follow her. She has TikTok, she has YouTube. You can follow her everywhere. So today we're going to talk about how to choose a grant writer. When I do actually speak to my friends at nonprofits, the client, the prospects, everyone wants to have grants. And yeah, as we always say, that you have to be at the point where you really ready for grants, because not you're not always ready. You have to get ready. But once they are ready, how what advice you can give to nonprofits leaders who are selecting a grant writer to work with? What should they be looking for? So can you give us like some tips and yeah, and advices, so they don't just go to any grant writer who might not be the perfect fit for them?
Yes. So here's what I've experienced as a grant writer, and here's what I know. The funder, a lot of times, they don't look into grant writers as they should. Some founders of nonprofits do this. Some like higher level executive nonprofits and philanthropists do this because they understand that they have a lot on the line and no money is to be wasted. So they are thorough in their search. Whereas maybe if they're starting out a nonprofit, or they're an executive director that knows absolutely nothing about grants, grant writers, the process, or anything. So they're relying on the grant writer to be the expert. But the problem is they're not really doing a thorough search. So they're getting scammed, unfortunately. Or you'll have someone say, yeah, I can get grants in like in 12 hours, or yeah, I can I can get you funded. I guarantee you funding like today, but there's really no guarantee when it comes to getting anyone funding, as you may or may not know from a grant writer standpoint. What we do and what we can do is write the grant, and if we are selected, that's how we know that we win. But another good tip is do a more thorough background on them. Just because they say they can write proposals doesn't mean they're going to write you winning proposals that get you funded every time, or at least get you more funded than not. So that's one to look out for. Another one to look out for. Now, I wanted to mention the success rate. Depending on the nonprofit, depending on what the executive director is looking for, the success rate may or may not matter. And the reason why, in the event that it may not matter, is when they know that you're new. You told them, hey, I'm volunteering, I'm trying to get more experience and knowledge as a grant writer. That's when it doesn't matter. When you cross over to that threshold of being a professional, that's when it tends to matter. um but in some cases, be careful with the success rate, because some grant writers will say something outrageous. Oh, I get 90% success rate. 90%, that means they can get the funding sooner or later, right? But when it's time to actually do that, they can't prove that they even know what they're doing to write grants. Education for the subject matter of grant writing and proposal writing is important as well. It's not enough to know how to write a good proposal, but what I teach, and later on I'll share that information with you in my workshop, is the cadence, structure, and technique. How to speak the funder's language. What are they looking for? If I have, for example, if my feet hurt and I need a foot rub, and I say, hey, can you rub my feet? And you're rubbing my shoulders. I'm like, wait a minute, the problem is my feet. So can you take care of that? But if you start giving me a back rub, I'm like, no, the problem is my feet. I'm getting agitated because we're not on one accord. So another good way to do that is make sure you know what you're talking about and they know what you're talking about. So those are some of my best tips for making sure you're hiring the right type of grant writer, not someone that's trying to go get over on you, not someone that's telling you how easy and how quick the process is. And and also they need to know about your programs. They need to be well acquainted with your programs before they seek funding for those programs.
Mhm.
So you wouldn't write, if you let's just say you're helping disadvantaged youth. That's great, but your proposal wouldn't be about veganism. That's how you don't get funded. So those, like I said, again, those are my and I'll stop it there unless there's more questions to be asked about it. But those are my best tips to making sure you have the right fit for your project, your proposal, what it is that you're trying to do, as well as achieve. So they should be acquainted with what you're doing, your mission, your vision, and use their expertise to help you close a gap between funded and not funded.
Awesome. No, thank you so much for sharing all this knowledge. Thank you. This is really important. And I want to tap into one thing, John, like Brittany said. No one can guarantee funding. You can do your best. You just want to have to do your homework and work with someone who is telling you the truth and who's going to work with you to really learn what your need is and to go and look for that. And I know sometimes, Brittany, and I want to hear from you actually about this. And you guys, feel free to post your questions if you're watching right now. And for those who watching the replay, also post your questions. We will answer you either in the comment or we can go another live and just to address your questions. So feel free to write your question in the comments and we'll put the information, we'll put the link in a few minutes on how to reach out to Brittany directly. So you can do that. So whatever, and if you have a question right now, we can answer it right now. So just feel free to write that in the comments. I wanted to talk to you and ask about like you mentioned niche. So some people, like when I spoke to grant writers, like they say, okay, we are doing only federal grants, or we work with um, startup organization, or with our agricultural organizations. This is our specialty. Where do you see that? Like, do you see that in percent? How do you see that? Uh,
This also depends on the funder, because I believe it's best to know how to write more than one grant as a grant writer, just so in the event that there's no one else doing it, you can showcase that as your talent and as your knowledge, because now you have that knowledge on writing that specific grant. But I would say stick to what you know, find a niche that you're good at and stick to that. Now, some niches, and especially when it comes to grant writing, or are more broader than others. Some, like education, for example. Education is really broad. So you want to take that like main category and then get into a subcategory of education. Are you teaching um infants, children, youth, teens, young adults, the elderly? So in that education, what is your education subject matter? Is it for GED? Is it for high school diploma? Oh, things like that. So that's one way to kind of pick a niche and stick to it. And
um, yeah,
go
that's
ahead.
if I am a grant writer, but if I am an organization and a funder, like how do I select? How do I know this is the right person? Do they have to have that niche? What kind of experience and stuff like I need to be looking at as a nonprofit?
Oh, okay. Nonprofit. So as a nonprofit, you do want to make sure that they are what you're looking for. So, are they familiar? If it's agriculture, how familiar are they with with the agriculture? How familiar are they with land and procurement of land? How familiar are they, with education and so on? Now, like I mentioned earlier, you have your main category and your subcategory. So if they are familiar with one aspect of education, that could be a benefit to you versus them knowing nothing for education. So it to me, for a nonprofit to look for a grant writer, it's things that to look for to see where you connect, where you're a match. And similarities are a lot better in this case. Some case differences, differences you can make that work, but similarities are better than trying to force a grant writer that they're telling you, I've never written this type of grant before. Oh yeah, just we're gonna hire you so you can learn, so you can write. So it's a lot better to hire someone who knows, unless you want to train them on it. That's a whole nother thing. But to have that person already knowledgeable to get you the funding that you need for your area.
Great. So yeah, I'd like just to add like one thing on that. Even if someone is new and don't really have the experience yet, but it is someone who maybe have mentor and who is always seeking education and who's willing to learn on their expense, like while you're still like paying them for doing the grants, but they know they might have to spend more time on that, and they take charge on that and make sure they deliver to you on time. But that person has
Mhm.
to be willing to learn, have some mentorship or coaching group, or the person who has been doing that and who's willing to learn. And this is actually is applied to everything, not only in grant writing. If you're looking for tax professional, if you're looking for accountant, if you're looking for marketing expert, like just because someone just started or you did not have a similar project, it doesn't mean they cannot help you. They might be able to help you more if they are they know their shortcoming, and they know they are looking to actually go learn, and they have mentorship, they're educating themselves in a um, daily basis. And actually you can see that, and you can tell like if that person is that or not. Because if you're whatever profession you are in, if you're just saying yes, yes, I know how to do that, or you're telling them something and they say no, that's not true, without even taking the courtesy to go and do some research and find out if what you are telling them has some base. Because we don't know everything, no matter how long we have been in the industry, whatever the industry is. No one knows everything. So something might come like 2 days ago and we still didn't know about it. Something maybe like we didn't deal with that specific situation, but because you dealt with it, you know that piece of information. So be careful of people like diminishing what you say. If you are sure, they should at least be willing to go look into that fact, unless it's really obvious and it's misconception that it's really known as a misconception. Like just misconception came to my mind for nonprofit exactly, is actually um grants is the major way of funding, since we're talking about grants. Well, it's
That's the
not.
one.
Right? It's only 30% of funding, and the 70% should be later, and it will be when you're ready. It's not going to happen right away. So that is known. So if you come to me or Brittany or anyone in the industry who knows what they're doing, they're going to tell you no, that's not true. But if you say there's for example, there's like something for nonprofit, a new credit or a new benefit, or even or anything, for example. So, and we say, no, that's not true. If we don't even go willing, if we're not even like willing to go and verify and do some research and ask you to send that what you're talking about to verify it and to make sure like this is true, or or actually discuss that with you, then maybe we're not learning on a daily basis, and we're not learning even on a yearly basis, annual basis. So you want to be careful. A lot of people like just get comfortable with that no, and they don't not willing to learn, and they don't want to get mentored, they don't have colleagues to ask them. But it's easier than ever now, like to get mentorship, to get coaching programs. Yeah, you might see those as expense, but they're not. They are investing. And people who actually willing to improve and know will never know everything in life and their career even, they are willing to invest in mentorship and coaching, and they're not afraid to go ask other professionals, um, because that's how we all grow. We all ask each other, regardless
Hmm.
if we're grants, accounting, marketing. Anyone who's willing to improve and willing and wants to provide you with the best service will go and verify and always learn, and we'll have a community of people that will go to when we don't know. So you want to
Yes.
make sure like we're working with the right person. And another thing I want your opinion with, actually, Brittany. So I've seen this a lot, and I know you know the answer, but I want to have. I know you. I want them to hear from you your perspective, and why is that doesn't work, and it's not the right way to do it. As I see in a lot of nonprofit groups, and a lot of people actually reach out to me. I don't do my grant writer. I partner with Brittany when a clients require grants
I
writing. We work together as a team, and I also work with other stuff like with other professionals and some. We do all these partnerships because it's not possible for each one of us to learn everything about everything. So,
mm.
but we know the basics. We know how to serve you. So, um, people like ask all the time, can you write the grants? And when we get funded, we will pay you. Can you
Oh,
tell
you
them?
mean the contingency? Yes, yes. So let me break down this contingency pay because that's what it is. So it's contingency pay, but it's under the guise of write yourself in the grant. So whenever you hear that, say no. Say no if you're a consultant. Um, so writing yourself in the grant means they're going to take a portion, like whatever your consulting fee is, they're going to take that out of the grant once they get it. So here's what that looks like. You're doing all of the heavy lifting to attempt to win them this grant, and attempt because grants are not guaranteed. But in the event that you do get this grant, they're going to pay you the grant funds from that as a consultant. That is a big giant no no. Never do that. Never accept that. The only time it's acceptable is when you are a grant employee, not contracted or independent contractor like I am. When you work for that nonprofit under your name and you are their in-house grant writer, they do have grants for salary, administration, things like that. So you can then, for that nonprofit, get paid with grant funds because they've already set it for that nonprofit. We have an in-house grant writer that is on our salary staff. We're paying them. But as an independent consultant, it's a no-no. And if you are a member of the GPA, Grant Professionals Association, they will revoke your membership because they don't allow that at all whatsoever. So if you hear that, oh, I can just you can just pay me, like if your grant writer is telling you, oh, it's fine, no problem, pay me out of that. Now you can tell them you heard it here first. You can tell them, no, that's not what Nora and Brittany were saying on this live. That's not what they're saying. That's not how it goes. If I'm contracting you, it's a separate fee, and that fee is up front. Or if you're working out a payment plan, it's a part that's completely separated from the grant funds. The that you are giving them up front, and then maybe you're paying them the other half later whenever it's completed. But for the most part, that either comes out of pocket or from a different source. It does not come from the grants
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah, thank you, Renee. So it is, guys, it is unethical. You cannot do that for your grant writers. And if anyone agrees on that, they don't know nothing. So you're not gonna you're not gonna hire them because it's gonna be waste of time and money, even if you don't pay them directly. You don't forget there's an opportunity cost for everything that you don't do. So just because you
That's
don't
true.
pocket, you're paying time and the money that you could have. And
Oh,
remember, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. I just wanted to add this in just before I forget. think about it like this. A contractor will give you their contract, like an independent contractor, a grant writer, employee. They are going to be, they're going to have an I-9, they're going to have a W-2 with your organization. That's the difference when it comes to documentation and the paperwork. That's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And I put the link for Writing Visions, which is Brittany's company. So like you can get that link and reach out to Brittany if you have any question and if you need her help. So she will be helping you if you are um, grant writer and looking to start grant writing, or you are a nonprofit and we're looking to write grants. And who do you help? What's the organizations? What type of organizations do you help?
I um I help the organization starting off, like if they're in their first 1 to 2 years, because there is funding out there, and this is not often mentioned. There is funding out there if you have been in operation for your first 1 to 3 years in your nonprofit and or your business. However, you do have to at least show them that you've been doing 70% of revenue first, like Nora mentioned before, and 30% of that comes from the grant writing. Although you're in your beginning stages, that doesn't disqualify you. You still might be trying to figure things out and work the kinks out of whatever it is that you're doing. But that does not disqualify you for grant funding. They can, as long as you have a what I call a projected budget, because if you're in your first year, as we know, for business, for nonprofit, you didn't have a nonprofit last year, so you can't say, oh well, last year I did XYZ. But you can um, put together a budget sheet that reflects what you will do in the future. So that's a little nugget I kind of gave away. That's something I'm going to be talking about in my workshop that's on February 5th, which is the grant readiness for the grant writer, grant basics not discussed. So it's on that link that I provided with koji.com/at writing visions. That is my social media where you can register on Eventbrite, where you can call me if you want to book a consultation. That is everything. You can see, and yes, I'm on TikTok, so you can see my my funny and hilarious TikTok skits on there. And just what I do just to try to bring a little life to grant writing, because I know it's not always easy and it gets a little boring sometimes, but I try to be the joy and the hilarity in that.
Thank you so much, Brittany. You want to make sure like to reach out to Brittany and attend her workshop and see how she can help you also. So thank you so much, Brittany, for all of that. And here's the link, and we're gonna put it under the lives. So just make sure to get that link and reach out to her and follow her social media as well. So also, if you are a nonprofit, a leader of nonprofit, or looking forward to start one, or struggling with funding, like any of that, like make sure to join my masterclass. I have a free masterclass coming up in February. You will learn the strategies through my method so you can get funded and you can be ready to go talk to Brittany and get grants. So make sure you join my masterclass. Here is my link, and you can join the masterclass. Another thing, in this link, you're gonna find also a link to my free Facebook group, and that is the group for of like-minded people. And we go live every um last Monday of every month. That's for the 2023. I'm not sure how long we're gonna keep that, but it's gonna be for the year of 2023. So if you're listening after that, we don't know what's going on now, but I'm sure the the Facebook group will still be going on. So join that Facebook group. And it's tax season. Make sure you do your taxes ahead of time. Now you should be receiving actually your forms, W-2s, 1099s, and if you are a nonprofit, I have a lot of videos about like 990s and what should you be looking for. And if you need help with that, please feel free to reach out, book a free consultation, and we can see if we are a good fit to work together. And yeah, that's it. And let us know if you have any question. And thank you so much, Brittany. And we'll see you all later tomorrow.
Oh
Bye.
yeah, I'm in your workshop. So guys, if you haven't registered, I'm gonna be there as well for her workshop. I registered for it, so yes, you'll see me, you'll see her.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And see you guys later. And like we said, put the comments and ask your questions and let me know what would you like um, to know about so we can do more live videos. Like I said, it's every day, different time every day, but it's anytime between 11 Central and 2 p.m. Central. That's what has been working for me, but it's going to be different every day. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.